Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new Godot Jam stream. I hope you are all doing fine, and I want to I want to ask you if my microphone is working nice for you. This stream is something special. I don't think we should have music right now. It should be silent. But yeah, welcome to this stream. This is going to be a special event because this is the first interview and also between two partners, Redefine Game Dev and Iris, A Colorful Dream. I discovered them while searching for people developing games in Godot. And they are creating a full game in Godot. And today we'll find out their secrets, what motivates them to continue working on the game, and what are their challenges, how they learned Godot, and much more. Okay, and now I want to introduce you, and I'm going to change the screen. Yeah, okay. So now you're live. So I want you to meet the team behind Iris. Yeah, so yeah, you can talk, and also please
Okay.
please do tell if you can hear them, because yeah, otherwise it will be a problem. But yeah, can you present yourselves? Can you introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure.
We're the developers of Iris, A Colorful Dream. We're from Brazil, and what else? A
Yeah.
very small team of two people
Yeah.
developing a game.
So, yeah, basically, it's just us, and we. I don't know what else to say. Like, we're
Okay, you're hyped.
We-
You want to make a game, and you're living it. I mean,
Yeah.
you're doing a full game. So
Yeah.
this is the dream for most people. So what we're gonna hear in this stream is your story, more specifically. So how you decided to start and stuff like that. So and yeah, let's jump right into it because I think I don't know if all the people that are in the stream know about your game, and of course probably they can see that behind you on the left side
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
screen. It's your game running. So yeah, by the way,
Yeah.
guys,
It's
yeah, go check.
This is our teaser for our upcoming demo that's coming next month.
Okay, so you're preparing a demo for the upcoming month, but please tell us a little about your game first. So yeah, its name is Iris, A Colorful Dream. What do you have to
Uh,
do what do you do in the game? What's
it's a puzzle platformer. Um, the demo is focused on giving the idea of how the gameplay will go. It won't have quests, for example, that will be in the game, but we want to give the idea of the platforming and how the puzzles will work and the abilities that the player can use.
And also introduce like the characters and the world itself, and
Yeah, give
and,
some teasers of the
yeah,
story.
we are trying to put out a lot of teasers of things that will be in the full game, that right now are just like is kind of Easter eggs in the demo. We're thinking of it um, more like a prologue to the full story that will come after.
Yeah, our demo isn't like many demos where you play a part of the game. It's actually a prologue. It's another story that comes before the game, so it gives you some context and some teasers for things.
The player, just like the character, will get in this place, and they will not know exactly where they are and what they're doing, and we want to have that feeling of mystery and what comes next. So that's basically it. We've been working on it for basically a year now. We started, I think, March or April of last year, and the demo is we decided to make it like not an actual part of the game, because we when we started, this is our first big project. So when we started making the actual game, and then we realized that we still had a lot of things to figure out of how to make the game, how to structure things. So it decided to make like a small version of the game, to work all these things out before jumping the main thing. Um, so the demo is a chance for us to polish our skills and figure out the story and the character and the movement and the platforming and all that. Uh, so then when we jump into the actual game, we know what we're doing, and we make less mistakes.
Okay. I think it's really nice, and I think it's a good advice here that some people can take, because a lot of them are beginners, and the fact that you focused on a vertical slice of the game to see
Basically, yeah.
if your skills and if you can achieve it, basically. If, first, of course, to test if the
Yeah.
engine can achieve it, if you can achieve it, if you can put in like all the mechanics that you imagined like to be in the game, and like the art style, if you can pull it off or not. And often people go on a bigger project, go on and they set up with some expectations without knowing what they can do or not, and later on they abandon the project. But yeah, you get much more out of a vertical slice than having this kind of approach.
Yeah,
So
it's like a proof of concept. Like we know that what we can do, what are our limitations, and
yeah.
we can adjust our plans to the full game according to that.
Yeah, and that's why game jams are so cool, because you basically have to make a vertical slice. You don't have time to make a whole game, so
Yeah.
makes you choose what to put in the game.
Yeah, it kind of forces you in to like optimize in that time frame. But you said, I remember, I think you said that your game started as a game jam, right? From a game jam.
Yeah, yeah. We started the project Iris to 2017, I think, during Rainbow Jam on HIO, and the theme was spectrum. So we thought about the colors and uh, what could we do, like using the color spectrum. Um, the gem was an LGBTQ gem focused, so we got the rainbow flag, and we we searched for the meaning of the colors in the flag, and uh, so that's basically where all the idea for the game started.
And
And
the
then
whole idea of the gem was based on a mechanic that you would emit beams of color that would reveal things that are invisible and hidden.
Yeah. That
And
the gem version of the game was basically that you just use the beams to see things that otherwise you wouldn't be able to.
and that's present in our game right now, the version we're working on, and it's a big part of it. And basically the whole game and the whole story was created around this mechanic.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good way to start a game. You choose a mechanic that you like, that's fun, and you create everything around it.
Yeah. So basically, this is in terms of game development, this is the core gameplay loop.
Yeah.
So have like the core gameplay loop. What the player does when they enter the game, they hit play. they do something that's fun. If it's not fun, then
Yeah.
you might reconsider the whole project, or
Yeah.
reconsider at least the core gameplay, because if that is not fun, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
that's probably and funny is not funny. It's like it's really nice to play. It gives you nice feel, like you want to play more.
And uh, since then we developed a lot of things around this. So now it will not only be like a platforming thing, but it in the full game it will also have a meaning to the story. Like you get to see uh, to figure out new parts of the story using that mechanic and using that idea of using color to achieve something.
Yeah, and we
see
also
something.
we also use the idea of emitting color um, to bringing color. So the game starts starts grayscale, it's black and white, and as you discover new colors, you emit them and you bring them back to the world. So we took that mechanic and we created story for it as well.
Yeah, that's nice. And it looks nice. I did not try the game, but I'm really curious to see how it works. I played some games actually that were black and white, and you had some colors. I remember I played like a student game once. It was called Tag: The Power of Paint, and actually the the students there were hired by Valve to create the gel mechanic in Portal 2. If you played Portal 2 and you know the gel mechanic, actually
Yeah.
that was created by some students that created this game called Tag: Power of Paint. And basically what you could do there is it was like also a black and white world, and you could you had like a paint gun, and you had like to paint stuff. Yes, very similar to the mechanic that you find in Portal 2, because yeah, that's where they got it. Okay, so you use Godot, so that's the main thing, and this is why we were
Yeah. Why we're here.
yeah. But tell me, what software do you use, and what people, probably a lot of people here are low budget, or they do game development as a hobby and they don't want to invest a lot of money. So what software do you use and recommend other people?
Yeah, we're also low budget.
Uh,
We use Blender for 3D modeling and 3D sculpting and 3D painting. We use a lot of Blender. Um, we also use Krita to draw and make textures. Well, we use Godot, obviously,
Okay,
as
yeah.
our game engine.
And we think that especially like for small teams and small budgets like we have, it's really good to have these options of tools to that are already there, and they are very high quality. Like Blender, for example, is like there are the industry is starting to embrace Blender. That a few years back it was like um, a minor software that like not it wasn't very like respected by the industry, and that's changing now, and more and more
Yeah, and
places
also
are using it.
something important. If you tried Blender some years ago, you
Yeah,
might want to try it again because the interface is so much better now.
yeah, they did a lot of updates in the
Yeah.
recent years, and it's really good now.
Yeah, Blender is great now.
Yeah, I've learned Blender before 2.8, and it was fine as a programmer. But since it's getting used by a lot of artists, they said, oh, the UI is trash and stuff like that. But with 2.8, me as a programmer felt like, oh, but this is a cool update, like really good update.
Yeah.
So yeah, and my hopes are that Godot, with Godot 4, and of course with the help of the community that is here, that is on Facebook groups, on Reddit, and other parts, we can make the engine better and put in more people so that we get like this high quality free tools so that all the people can use them,
Yeah,
basically.
I strongly believe that Godot it's in that path, like to become a huge thing. It Godot 4 is looking like a major update, and I think not as soon as it comes out, but uh, in a few years, I think it will have a much bigger place in the not only in the indie scene, but in the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I think Godot 4 will be used by the industry, not only indie devs. I think Godot 4 will be the one because it's looking amazing.
Yeah, yeah, we'll actually see. But I think, I mean, we just need to go back to the roots and see how Unity got so big in the first place. Well, they got so big because they targeted indies, right? Independent people that don't have budget and stuff like this. Well, guess on which track is Godot right now? It's on the same track. So of course, people still have issues. Like the 3D is good, but yeah, it still lacks behind Unity and Unreal. So no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But with Vulkan renderer, we'll see some changes.
Yeah, we actually, like last year, we still had hopes that we would be able to switch to Godot for Iris, um, but uh, now it seems like it's a little bit uh, far in the future, and it won't be
Yeah.
as stable as soon as it releases. So
Yeah,
we
and we've developed a lot, so we'd
Yeah.
have to change a lot of stuff. I think we'll stick with Godot 3.
Yeah.
Probably 3.3 that came out, or maybe even more versions.
if
they come
another
out.
3 dot something comes out.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably that's the best way. I mean, this is why also people like lock version of an engine and they continue
Yeah.
with that, because once you're deep in development, you don't want game breaking bugs, because
Yeah.
some internal stuff got changed. And with this said, I want to ask you, since when have you started to learn Godot, and did you have prior skills, or what were the requirements for you to learn the engine?
What was the year that we?
2016 maybe.
Yeah, I think we started using Godot around 2016. I had previous experience with programming, and you had with art.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have experience. I had never used a game engine. I used Unity and Unreal after I started learning Godot, but I came back to it because I think it's really intuitive, easy to use. I think it is a great place to start. Creating a 2D project in Godot is a great place to learn programming, actually. GD script is a great language.
Yeah, well, the first games we made were like game jam games, and we did all of them in Godot, and it's a great to the story of how we came into knowing it is because we were we studied computer science,
Okay,
and there
knowledge.
was there was a group in our university that was for game dev and game dev stuff, and they used Godot. I think one of the reasons they used it was because it was an executable.
Yeah,
Right,
because
yeah.
you couldn't install things in the computer in the lab computers.
Ah,
So
yeah, makes sense. Like yeah, I used to do that. There was a website you could download a lot of tools, like that didn't require installers.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
that was the main reason they started using it. But they fell in love with Godot, and we started because of them, and
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
we've been part of, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 game jams with Godot after we started learning, and it's being part of a game jam is great to learn. It's the best way. I think it's the best way to learn a game engine because you need to create a small project that works. You
Yeah.
need to make something small that works, and it's very helpful.
By the way, if you haven't joined it, join Godot Game Jam.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is why we are pointing out. But yeah, you said you had previous experience. You did computer science, and of course you had previous experience with programming. But what do you think people that are non-programmers, non-coders, how hard would be for them to learn Godot? Do you think it's a problem? Do you think GDScript is too complicated, or what's your opinion?
I know how to program, but I'm not like a huge programmer. So my main thing on Iris is dealing with level design and art and game design in general. But I did follow a tutorial a while ago to make a small game, and it was the first time I tried programming a game, and I found it really like uh, Vinny said, it's intuitive in Godot. Like you with GDScript and all, you
Yeah.
I think it's easy to learn. But I did have a little bit of background in programming, so
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not.
As far as programming languages go, I think GDScript is great. The editor is great as well. Godot has very good documentation. The version 3 has great documentation, and there are a lot of tutorials that are easy to follow. I think uh, starting Godot is really easy because there are a lot of resources.
Okay. And I wanted to ask, what tutorials have you followed? Like, can you recommend? Because people say, of course, that there are no Godot tutorials, but you started some time ago, and you said you followed some tutorials. So, what would be your top picks in that sense?
I actually can't remember like a specific
Just say one
tutorials
name,
that I
one name,
followed.
like one.
GD Quest.
Yeah,
GD Quest
is,
has great tutorials.
Okay.
And
Have you?
I can't think of specific ones, but there are a lot. If you look, go to YouTube and look for Godot tutorials. There's a lot of stuff and a lot of really good stuff. And you can even be more specific. Like if you're making a 2D platform, look for 2D platformer tutorial Godot, and you'll find a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I think we both are like we like to learn things by ourselves. So we like for example 3D. I know 3D modeling and I know like video editing and all this stuff. And right now I'm studying it like in a, in a university, but before I got in there, I already knew most of it because I always use the internet as a source of tutorials and knowledge in general. So I think, like Vin said, Godot is very well documented, and there are a lot of the community has a lot of great tutorials and tips and like guidance on how to make a game and start making games. So I think it's
Yeah,
a nice
it's good for
thing
for
to
beginners.
yeah.
With that said, like so beginners don't have to worry that they won't find tutorials. Of course, they won't. There won't be like tutorials dropping every day on starting with Godot, like from a lot of different YouTubers. But we have starting with Godot from some big YouTubers, so it should not be a problem. I heard from you before that your game was initially 2D, and you transitioned to 3D. And for some people that are saying, "Oh, Godot cannot do 3D," why did you choose to make it 3D, and how did that transition go for you?
um, we we started the game on a game jam, like we said, and it was the style that we chose was like very stylized and like hand drawn and kind of like a painting. So when we started to elaborate on the story, we realized that we illustration is not like our strong uh, our best. We don't have huge abilities in it, so we decided to switch to 3D because it would allow us to make a more cinematic and elaborate scenes with uh, and still maintaining these very stylistic choices that we made, but uh, we would be able to do more things with 3D.
Yeah, we wanted to tell a story that was very cinematic, and we had in our minds the way we wanted the story to be, and we could do it in 2D,
Yeah,
but we're just two people.
Yeah.
It would be extremely hard. So with 3D, you create a model and you have to animate it, but animating a model is a lot easier than
Drawing.
hand painting each frame.
Yeah. We made a trailer once for the 2D version, and there was a little bit of story in the beginning, and we had to do like some frames of animation, and it was already like too much. so yeah, I think it was a good thing that we switched to 3D. And at the time we made this decision, like um, I think most of Godot games are 2D, and people have
Yeah.
like this mentality of like Godot
Is
is
for
not
2D.
good for 3D. So we had to really like search and make sure that we would be able to do it. We considered at some points like switching to other engine, but but we believe in Godot, and like we like to work with it, so we decided to stick with it and make it work, and we found out that Godot is actually like uh, uh, at least specifically to our project, uh, it fits really well. Like we can do like most of the stuff that we need, and there hasn't been like huge problems.
Yeah, we haven't had any huge problems dealing with 3D in Godot. Um, and some of the problems we do have will be fixed in Godot 4. Godot 4 will be better optimized for 3D, and there will be occlusion culling, which has been asked by the community for a long
So much,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, but our game is very stylized. It doesn't have a huge poly count, so it fits our game.
Yeah, I think it can serve as a good advice, like to adapt the style that you want to make your game into the platform you're making it. Like if we had like, okay, we're using Godot, and but we want to do it like hyper realistic and super high poly, so we would have had a lot of problems, but we
Yeah, I've seen people do it.
Yeah.
I haven't tried it. I haven't personally tried it to make something hyper realistic with high poly count in Godot. I've seen people do it. I can't say if it would have problems. But I do know that Godot 4 has a lot better optimization, and I know that Godot 4 wouldn't have problems. Like LOD, for example, which, if people don't know what it is as the camera moves further from an object, you switch the model to a lower poly model. And Godot 4 has that. We actually implemented it for some things in our game, mostly trees, because they have a lot of leaves. And I mean, we have LOD in Godot 3 because we implemented it. You can always
Do it.
create. Yeah, you can always do the stuff that you really need.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good point. I also there's a question that I was like eyeing and I don't want to miss. It was regarding the animations, and Anne Marie asked, "The animations look so nice. I'm curious how you did them." And I'm also curious because they look a little like stop motion.
Yeah,
And yeah, can you tell us a little and the audience how you did them?
yeah. The style of the animations came from it being a 2D game earlier, because we did this like how do you call it? It's like not
To the animation,
yeah, 2D
basically.
animation. Like it wasn't really smooth.
Hmm.
You could see like
Yeah.
the jump from a
One frame to the
one,
other.
one frame to the other. So when we switched to 3D, at first we wanted to make it look as 2D as possible. We wanted to like keep the looks, but using 3D. Over time, we left that a bit behind, and we embraced the 3D aspect more.
Yeah,
But
one important thing to do is uh, don't try to keep an idea because you had this idea. Try to keep the ideas that are good for the game.
yeah,
We started realizing that some 3D elements actually look better, so we kept them.
Yeah.
But we wanted to preserve the feel of the 2D animation and the hand drawn look. So that's why we chose that animation.
yeah, and we do it in Blender, like we said before. And the thing is that Vini animates the frames, specific frames, and doesn't use interpolation.
Yeah, you just turn off interpolation
And boom, you have
Uh,
it. And
Yeah.
it looks really unique, I would say, and people are looking for something unique in your game, something special.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people noticed this since the beginning when we started posting about the game. We've had a lot of good comments like, "Oh, I love that animation style," and things
Yeah,
like that.
it's the
And it's really nice, like to to have the people noticed. You know.
yeah, that's crazy. And I also like how you decided to go from 2D to 3D because I have zero skills like in art, in pixel art, and a lot of people when they are taking up Godot, they're working with yeah, with Sprite and other software. But yeah, I'm thinking like, are you familiar with the game called Dead Cells?
yes, I
Yeah.
know the game.
So they have actually they have this kind of art style where they render a model, a 3D model, animated and stuff, and then render it in frames, and then they put it as a 2D model in the game. So the game is actually a fake 3D game, so to say, because for some people these are two different workflows, and it's mostly how your brain is rigged up to work. I mean, is it rigged up to work more art or more like modeling kind of? It's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just different, and both workflows are really nice and can give you quite cool results. But I think too many are pixelated in a way, and we need the other one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's good. I really like pixel art. I played a lot of pixel art games, but I think if we have only them, they kind of make this idea around Godot that it's only for 2D pixel art games, and it's kind of
Yeah.
wrong. And we need kind of
Yeah.
like everything. And people were saying in the comments like we need AAA games. Yeah, we need one or two AAA games as well, so that people can see, hey, this game engine can do a lot of various games. Um, to yeah,
Yeah.
for people's style.
And like we said, like we don't we are not like professional 3D modelers or animators or anything. So we are working with our skills and like doing it in a way that looks good because we are being creative about it. You have to if you're not that good with 3D animation, maybe you can try switching it up and doing something unexpected to see if like it looks better. It looks like not that you didn't do it well, but that you
Yeah,
made something in
try
a
to work
specific
around
way.
your weaknesses, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think in game development, especially in low budget or no budget indies, we have to do everything ourselves. So people need to be open to learn new skills. They shouldn't box themselves like, oh, I'm just a programmer, or I'm just an artist. No, you kind of have to be the animator, the modeler, the artist,
yeah.
the UI designer, composer, what's necessary. You have to be it. Like this is where the term one man army come to exist.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
by the way,
It's
someone
very
asked
real.
a question. Nickname generator failed. Asked like, are you working fully with GDScript or using C++ as well to optimize? Like when it comes to optimize, do you still go GDScript or?
We're just using GDScript. We don't have any very sophisticated and complicated algorithms that I think might require C++. Yeah, I think for I can't speak for other people's games, but for our game, I don't think we'll need anything with a lot of code optimization. Um, so yeah, we're just using GDScript. It's not bad actually.
Yeah, it's similar to Python. That's
Yeah.
where they take the inspiration from. Uh, somebody else, Simonal Mono, asked what platforms will you be releasing on long term?
Yeah, we'll definitely be releasing on Steam.
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't defined like the date for that the demo will come out yet. We're thinking the start of June, but as we're finishing the demo, we're like waiting to see when it will be stable. But when we release it, we will already put up a Steam page, uh, and so the game eventually will uh, come out on Steam. And we're also thinking about itch.io. We'll also put up a page in there, and
You don't have
it
it right
will
now on
be
Steam.
available.
You don't have the,
No,
Not yet.
it's not up yet. Yeah,
but
Yeah,
you know you have
we'll
to gather the wish lists.
yeah. But
Yeah.
we're waiting to like get the hype of the release of the demo and like have like that big uh, uh, to have a lot of visualizations on the page because it can help get it recommended to more people if you have like a good start. So we're holding on a little bit just to release the demo and the page together, and then the full game will come out only like a year and a half from now, more or less. So we'll have plenty of time to gather the wish lists. So
Yeah, yeah. I think. I
that's our
mean,
strategy.
a lot of people these days, Jonas Roller and other people put their games up, and Daniel as well. They have their games up to gather wish lists because I think there's this threshold of 10,000 wish lists, so that Steam can start promoting the game and in upcoming section. And yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, you need to, and this is also advice for other people here. If you're working on the game, uh, try as soon as you have something to show. Don't just put a Steam page and say this is a game. Like as you can see, the game looks nice. It has a demo already, so of course you can put up a Steam page. Yeah, and also Leonardo Cuadro Lopez says, "Have you planned to release it on Switch?" And I think this game really deserves to be on Switch.
Yeah, we do too, but
I'd
that's
love to
I
release
would
it on
love to
Switch.
see that, but it's I think it's a little bit too soon to like uh, to say for sure that it will be on Switch, but we'd certainly like to see that.
Yeah, if we're able to, we will.
Yeah.
If we can, we will.
Yeah, but it's actually I think it's a little easier because Godot has like this third party company that they recommend,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah,
if you I don't know if you negotiate a contract with them, because people underestimate, they think like it's one click publish and you get it to another console, but in fact it's a lot of work to get it on the other
yeah,
console. So maybe you can work on the game on the PC and main platforms, and then you can outsource like with a revenue share model between you and other companies, and they can port the game. So yeah, that
yeah.
kind of works.
We need to wait and see how things develop, and but hopefully we can do that. It would be like a dream come true, certainly.
Yeah. And can you tell us a little about what tools are you using in Godot? Like, do you use any plugins, any resources that people should be aware of? Because probably it's a strong issue right now with Godot not having like a fully fledged asset store. So of course, where do you get like the goodies, so to say?
Yeah. So I was watching actually the stream yesterday for the Go Jam, and it was said like the they used like a tool to paint the terrain, and that's actually the same tool we are using. It's high terrain, or I
High
think
terrain.
high terrain, and at first we wanted to like do it manually, like the terrain and all, but soon we have the yellow level that's actually like behind me. Um, it is a desert, and we realized that doing the dunes, like modeling them, was a bit too hard. They didn't look as organic as
Yeah,
we wanted.
because the thing with sand is that it gathers in wherever there's a structure. So if there's a rock here, the sand will probably go up a little bit.
Yeah,
And
so
so
to achieve that, we had to look for a tool that allowed us to paint the terrain, and so that's like a it's a really good tool. And Godot has a big library. Like from the engine, you can search for the tools that you need. And also another resource we were talking about was the Godot shaders website, where
The cat is the real
where
developer.
yeah.
yeah.
Leonardo said in the
Uh,
comments.
um,
Yeah.
and we use a lot of shaders uh, on Iris, like the whole unlocking a color and the painting look. So we learned a lot from looking at other shaders and learning about how they're
Yeah,
made.
when we started, I didn't know anything about shaders, and I had to learn. And I still don't know a lot about them. They're like magic, but there are some places where you can get references and even shaders that you can actually use in your game. Like I think every shader in Godot shaders you can use. I'm not sure. You'd have to look. Um, but it's a really good website that I think is new because I had never heard of it. But
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
some really cool shaders, and also the forums have a lot of stuff. Um, and Godot has its own shading language, but many times I've watched Unity tutorials for shaders and adapted it to Godot's language. The idea is basically the same, and Godot even has the visual shaders now,
So that's
so
even
that's
more
cool.
simple. Okay,
Yeah,
some actually people are starting to ask about the cat. So would be nice to present
Yeah.
your cat a little, like
Oh, yeah.
cat's name, and
Sure.
like
Sure.
show it to the audience, because that's
Sure.
it's the main motive
Vinny,
that keeps you like to drives you to continue and finish the game.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
So
yay.
here
we're
she
working.
is. Here she is. Her name is Agatha.
Agatha.
It's like Agatha Saki with like Agatha. Um,
Ah, how
and
old is she?
she's 3, 4.
Yeah, I think for
I think 4 years old, and she's our baby.
and she
Ah.
doesn't like to be with us like this.
She's really cute. My mother has 7 cats. I know what having a cat is like. It's really nice, but they
It's really nice. Yeah.
you have to take care of them a lot.
And
Yeah, she wants to be a part of the stream.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's meowing a lot because she likes to drink water from
tap.
the tap.
Ah,
She likes us to open the tap and then she
Ah,
drinks there.
good,
And we
good.
didn't do it before the stream, so now she's like
She's
yelling
angry
at
at
us.
us.
She's angry.
Yeah. So, as also Ismir was asking, like, how did you resist it to feature creep to put in more and more features? Like when you said, okay, this is time to stop putting stuff and like working on what we have.
That's something that's really hard to do, and we're still learning to do it. But what we did for the demo is we created kind of a deadline. We don't have a fixed deadline yet, but we established that the month of June is when we intend to release the demo. So we couldn't keep including stuff. We actually ended up cutting some stuff because we had to keep the deadline. But that's not a bad thing, actually. I think cutting stuff is really important because sometimes the game gets bloated and it just has a lot of stuff that doesn't really make the game better. So if you have to cut stuff, you need to choose which parts are actually important for your game and make it more cohesive.
Yeah. So
But yeah, to answer your question, I think a deadline helps.
yeah, and I think not having a deadline is what most game developers like struggle and not are able to not deliver any project because it just keeps on going and going, and this is why a lot of games are made from game jams actually, because you have a limited deadline and you know, oh, this is what I can achieve, and yeah, you just cannot put more stuff. So yeah, just think of the project development as a bigger game jam, so to say, but for you. Yeah, this is also why companies like keep on like the bosses and stuff keep on saying, oh, you need to have like this deadline and that deadline. It's not to nag you, of course they do nag you, but it's also because of this, because I think it's called the Parkinson effect. So there is this theory that given a certain amount of time, a person will do the task in that amount of time. But if that time increases or decreases, that person will still do the same task in that amount of time. so,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and the times that we were most productive while developing the demo were when we set like deadlines for specific things, because then we had like that focus like of like we had to deliver this, and like it flowed better, I think,
Yeah.
the work.
But also really important, try not to crunch.
Yeah.
Your life is also important.
Yeah.
Life isn't just working.
Yeah, we actually updated our plans I think last week, because the demo has 6 areas, 6 levels, and we were planning on releasing all of them at the same time, but then we started working on the first 3 levels to make a playtest, and we realized that we could split the demo into parts and release first this first half, and then later, uh, probably a month later or so, we'll be able to release the second part, and that will allow us to not crunch, basically, because uh, there's always things that you didn't see coming, like bugs
They
and
hit you in
things
the
that
last moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
but and not just bugs, but like you remember that you had to do something to release, like for example, make the trailer for the Steam page, like it's something that we it's how is it's another whole task that you forgot about it, and it adds a lot more time on your schedule. So
Whenever we try to make a list, we always forget a lot of stuff that we
yeah.
need to do.
Yeah.
So now we are much uh, we're much more confident that we will uh, release a good first half of the demo right now, and then later we will also release the rest of it, and it will be better for us because we, we, we won't crunch, and it will also allow us to do more
We'll
and
have a more
polish.
polished,
Yeah,
a more polished game
we'll be
overall.
able to polish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really good, and also having something for people to see before is a part of the marketing. And there are a lot of questions regarding the marketing, when you should start marketing your game, or what's your marketing strategy, and also what has been the reception so far for the game. So what is your marketing strategy? Let's put it like that.
Yeah. So when we started uh, last year, a year ago, we the main thing we use right now is Twitter. We whenever we like model something new or implement a new feature, a new mechanic, we always do like a short video and try to post it to Twitter with like the hashtags for like in the game, Godot engine, and all that, and that's been working for us. Like uh, a lot of people noticed the game and noticed our work through that. And now that we're preparing to release the demo, um, the the marketing work is like a lot more complex because there are a lot of things that you need to consider. Like for example, that the Steam page. I've seen in multiple places that the first days or the first week is really important
Yeah,
in terms
it's
of
true.
traffic in the page. So we could have we had the page we have the page approved already, so we could just release it now. But then we wouldn't have the most people visiting and accessing it at the start, and that could be a bad thing. So you have to plan a lot of things at the same time. Like you have to prepare the trailer and prepare like a press release and a press kit and see.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, lot of
uh,
stuff.
so
Yeah.
there's a lot of things to consider, but thankfully, again, the internet has a lot of resources about where to start and how to plan everything. When I started doing this, like I didn't have any experience marketing a game, so everything I'm doing now I learned as I researched about it. Um, and always like when you're if you go to read about your Steam page, the usually the article will always mention a little something that you don't know what it is, and then you can search that, and then you keep going, and like you start having an idea of everything that you need to do to properly market
Yeah,
your game.
and also marketing is kind of unpredictable. Uh, we post a lot of stuff to Twitter whenever we have a nice screenshot, or we make a new area and we think it looks beautiful. We record a short video of it, um, and whenever we think, okay, this post is going to be great and a lot of people will like it, it never does.
Yeah.
And when we post like a bug, it's absurd. It's
yeah.
a lot of likes, a lot of retweets.
Yeah,
It's very
it's
unpredictable.
hard to predict which posts will do well and will
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
visibility.
So it's always best to do a lot of posts
Yeah.
because you never know which one will be a good one.
Yeah, there are two strategies here I've seen. So this is coming from content creation on YouTube. So one is of course stuff that is creating controversy in one way or another. So like posting a bug or posting a strong opinion about something. Of course, people are getting triggered, but that's the thing. Like if it's something neutral that doesn't have any triggers, any emotional triggers, people won't emotionally react in any way to that. And that's one thing. And the other is probably like if you see something is working, try to refine that, do it to the next
Yeah.
level, kind of. So if you post a bug, then next put a bug like 10 times much more fun than that one,
Yeah.
and see how that goes. Yeah, I've seen like on YouTube people posting a video doing really well, and then after a couple of videos they post like an, a video that's really similar to the one that made really well, and usually it has a lot of success because that's what people
Yeah.
were waiting for. I don't know, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an entertainment business. We're all in this entertainment business, and people come
Yeah.
home sick from their jobs, and they just want to relax, to unwind, to watch a movie, play a game, and they don't come to YouTube or Twitter to yeah to just like see regular stuff. They come to have fun there, kind of. Yeah, only the devs come there to put stuff and
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Also, it helps finding what's the thing that's unique about your game and posting about that and see the reaction that people have. I've seen a lot of people posting, for example, for UI, post two options of how should I use my UI, and those posts usually do well because people like giving their opinion and feeling like they're part of a project.
Yeah, I think that's really good to have like to form a community. Then you can start like asking them, and actually they contribute to the game. And once you release it, they feel like they are part of that game now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
we
so
also
cool.
have a Discord server where we give updates on our game, and we're also doing playtests, and people are helping our game. The playtests help a lot. We've found a lot of bugs because of the playtests, and we've realized some things that weren't working the way we intended, so we changed it.
Yeah. It's really nice to have this community and like people that because people that get to the Discord server, they are like you need to pass like you see us on Twitter and you might like it, you might follow, but if you go to the Discord server, like we know that the person is really interested in the game, and then they've been really helpful through the process. Like I said, with playtests, we figured a lot of stuff out thanks to their feedback. Things that we were sure that we were good, and then you put it there and you see that people don't react like you thought they would, and then you need to adapt and make it work better.
Yeah. By the way, I've put your Discord. I linked it in the chat. So
Oh,
Thanks.
thank you.
who's interested, yeah, join their Discord. They actually the biggest community you have on Twitter, right? So yeah, you amassed 1,000 followers on Twitter. So that's great.
Yeah.
And in how much
Yeah,
time, by the way?
that
Um,
I think it was less than a year. It was like 8 months. I think we we from the start we had like this. Well, of course, it's numbers. It not always means like uh, too much because you can have a lot of followers but not have enough interaction and engagement. But we always thought of like, oh, when we get to 1,000 followers, it will be like so exciting, really big. But we never thought that we would get there so early. Like we hadn't even started to do play tests or uh, uh, like we still don't have a demo, but but we got that objective, and it was really nice to see that
Yeah.
to see that people are liking what we're doing, and um, like we're just two people making a game, like we don't
Yeah.
have
And
big resources, and to see that return in and see people enjoying it, what we're doing, it's really nice, and it's really something.
yeah, I think it's the dream for most people here to be able to work on a game and have a community and people enjoying
Yeah,
the work that they do, because yeah, if not, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is there to hear it, is
yeah,
uh, so basically it's kind of the same if you do a game and yeah, no one is actually there to check it, to see what it does. I don't know. That's kind of,
yeah. It's really nice to have the appreciation of the players and the,
Yeah. And
the
another
community.
another tip for people who are starting, um, create a Discord server, because you get some people that are really engaged, and you can bounce ideas off of them, and you can uh, play test with
yeah,
them.
Yeah, and it's much easier to have a conversation with people there than on Twitter or in other place. And it's like it's a room that can be full of people, and everyone can see the conversation and give their opinion, and like elaborate on things. So it's really nice to
yeah.
have a
we
Discord.
we all have our Discord servers. Like if you
Yeah,
just check the Godot jam page, like we're filled with
yeah,
Discord servers, and people are asking which server should join. I think you can try all of them and see what fits for you. I think everyone has a
yeah,
different community, different people in each community, and whatever works for them, yeah, then just go for it. But yeah, it's a yeah, definitely something that you need to do as a game developer, because it doesn't work if you just like make a game and after 2 years like, oh, I made the game, here it is.
yeah,
and then and then you see a post on Reddit, yeah, I released my game and it failed.
yeah,
No wonder, like no wish lists, no community, no nothing. How do you think the game will get
yeah.
traction, right?
Yeah,
um,
from the start, we had this idea of like we need to get people interested. Like we can't
yeah,
just especially because like we said, we don't have we're not like an established studio. We don't have uh, like a huge team and all that. So we need to have the support along the way to be able to make it to the end, because if we were just alone doing it by ourselves and not getting any feedback and not seeing the interest of people, we might have already gave up, or we wouldn't be as excited to keep working on it, because every time we see a new person join the community, or like comment, sometimes just a comment on a tweet, like it motivates us
yeah,
to
yeah,
keep doing that. So it's really nice to be out there and be sharing what you're doing with the community.
yeah. And it's amazing what just a comment can do to your mood, because a lot of game developers struggle with motivation and keeping motivated, because you initially, once you start the project, you're super motivated, you say you are going to finish, but then you start to
Yeah,
find some bugs, you need to polish the game, you end up in this not so fun um, part of the project, and then of course you are starting to lose motivation. So having a
yeah,
community helps a lot, because people will say, hey, how is the game going, or thanks a lot for what you're doing, I think it's great. And yeah,
yeah,
when you hear this, it's just amazing what it can do, when others show support.
yeah.
And one other question before we dive into the other sections of this live stream. So do you have any advice for people that are starting right now with game development, where they should start, or what should they learn first, or yeah, or what games should they make?
I think YouTube tutorials are great. Um, they're the best place to start learning. And being part of game jams is what I think helps the most, because you have to you will need things that you don't know, and you will have to learn them and fast, and it always helps.
Yeah, I also think that trying things out, like experimenting, like um, if you're just starting, it usually, I think it won't be good to just have a first idea and jump in a big project and try to do something huge from the start. Uh, like, for example, for us, we had made some gem games, and we had maybe a couple of other uh, solo projects, and uh, Iris itself, like it started as a small thing, and we developed the 2D version, I think, for more than a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah,
On and off, of course.
on and
Like
off.
we weren't like we're now, like, uh, but we tried a lot of things out first, and then we decided to move to this bigger thing. Like you you can, but you probably won't succeed if you try to just go super huge in the first time. Like you need to try things out, experiment, see what are your strengths, and try to learn different things. Especially if you'll be working solo, it's good to try a little bit of game art and 3D modeling, uh, as well as try some basic programming, and like try because game development is like, it's uh, how do you say, it's like there are a lot of different areas working together.
Yeah,
Like,
and in indie games, everyone wears every hat.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you need to know your strengths and know your limitations, and see what you can do and what you have to go after. Because maybe if you don't try a little bit of 3D modeling, or something, or art, you won't find out that you actually can do it, and you might have like develop a unique style, and do something uh, that that stands out from uh, what other people do. So I think you always need to try.
Yeah. Yeah. Have an open mindset,
Yeah,
and don't say, "Oh, I can't do that," or "Oh, I don't want to learn that," because
yeah,
you're only sabotaging yourself. And I think for most people just put, "I don't have skills" or "I don't have talent," but in fact you can do a lot of things more than you think you
yeah,
can do, if not everything. Of course, you probably
exactly.
the actual talent will prevent you from being like super good, but you don't need to be super good
Yeah,
to deliver an awesome experience.
yeah,
And
Yeah,
plus, yeah, the
exactly.
super good are just a couple of people in the world. Like, for example, like chess grandmasters. Like, how many are there? There are a handful of chess grandmasters. So, I mean, if you know how to play chess really well, you'll probably beat a lot of people that you meet. Of course, if you meet a
Yeah,
grandmaster, it will be a problem. But in most cases, you will be able to deliver something better than a lot of people. So that's what it counts in the end. Having a mindset that is open to try new things, basically. And also, if you work in a team, I don't know how it's going for you, but in the teams that I worked, of course, there were a lot of there were a lot of like discussions where we could sometimes you could not agree on some things. So how do you deal with that? Like if you're struggling to find a common ground on a feature, or how do you deal with that? Probably you
yeah.
have
That's
dealt with that.
that's tricky, but we we certainly had like some issues of like having a different vision from each other, and it's a thing that you need to work on. You need to learn to uh, see what the other people is thinking, and never go into it thinking that one of the that you are right and they are wrong,
Yeah,
or
yeah. That
vice versa. And especially you need to have in mind that everyone uh, wants the best for the project. So if they think that it should be like that, they probably have a reason, and you might need to discuss it and see uh, and like
Yeah.
do a pros and
You
cons list.
yeah
Yeah. Also, one thing that I think is helpful is thinking of examples. If you want a new mechanic and you're arguing if it should be in the game or not, think of games that have similar mechanics and see if the games are similar to yours and see how that mechanic fits in those games. Because there are a lot of games, and what you are creating um, will probably be unique, but elements of it will be in other games. So you can look for examples and see how it works there. And always keep in mind that you what you think is right might not be the best for the project. You need to
yeah
keep an open mind and accept that.
Yeah, and probably at some point it's good for someone to have like the final word, because you can end up in a
yeah
stalemate. So I would say, oh,
yeah
but I'm truly convinced that this is good for the project, and the others say, no, it's this. I'm super. So of course, at
yeah
some point, you do need you enter up this state where you there is no middle ground. So there needs to be someone that says, no, okay, we'll go with this one, and I take responsibility.
yeah
For
we have talked we have kind of defined like
Different
which
areas.
of us like has the more authority in each area, like
Yeah,
you kind of like a role in the game, even though we do most of the stuff together. um, there are things like, for example, I do the level design, uh, basically. uh, this is basically my area. So when there's a thing that that is pertinent to that, uh, I usually get to have the final say, or at least like uh, have a little bit more of like not authority, but like
If
yeah
we reach a stalemate, then depending on the area, each
yeah
one has the final say.
yeah
ah,
Um,
yeah, that's a good approach.
because that's what, like, for example, level design, for example, again, it's the thing that I'm doing, and I'm studying it, and I'm searching. So I'm of course Vinny sometimes has some great ideas, and I take these ideas and I do them because we are doing this together. But it can be good to have this this system of like who is uh,
Responsible
yeah,
responsible.
for
Yeah,
different areas.
and
Yeah,
don't be afraid of discussions, because each discussion we had and each disagreement has made the game better.
yeah.
yeah, it's a strong point. And regarding the making the game better, Kantma says, how do you plan the development of your game?
Um,
Okay.
we have the demo that we will release next month, and we're planning to release the other half of the demo um, 1 month or 2 months after that, and then we'll start working on the game itself, which we don't have a fixed schedule yet. We have a basic idea of what we want to do, and
Yeah,
we have many Google Drive documents
yeah.
about it.
We Iris is kind of a story driven game. So one of the first things that we did was to write an outline of the story and think of the what we want this journey to be. So from that we took like we structured like, oh, we want to have these many levels, we want to have these different areas separated in such and such and such, and so we have that whole thing like planned, but we don't have, for the whole game we don't have like a schedule of release yet, because like we said before, we are using the demo to learn what we can do. So uh, until the last moment, we will be adjusting how we do things and how we and our and how we work on the game. So once we release the full demo, we will start planning like, okay, we'll have this many months to work on the first level, and then keep going like that. Um,
But
so yeah,
do you? I mean,
I think
it's a top-down approach, like you said, like okay, we do this and that. But do you use like the agile or waterfall, or what? Do you have like a specific time frame, like sprints, or how do you do like daily tasks? Like, do you have a list and then you go through them and then like say, okay, for this week we do these tasks, or how do you manage like the technicalities, so to say, of the
Yeah.
project?
We usually have for the demo right now. We have a list of everything we still need to do, and we choose by priority. So the most important things that we can do right now, we do first, and we leave the things with lowest priority to the end, so that if we need to release the demo without everything we wanted, um, it will at least work and have everything that it needs to have.
there are certainly this divide between things that are essential to the demo and things that would be nice to have, but we might not have them at release, or maybe not ever, but at at least the game will work and will be a good experience
Mm.
and really close to what we desire.
Okay. And what Moises says, I hope I pronounced the name right, asks, what resources would you recommend to learn 3D level design?
Okay, I watched when we were starting to work on the levels. Uh, I watched many GDC talks about level design. I can't remember like from uh, from memory like any specific ones, but again, like we said before, we usually go to YouTube as a source of learning. So you can see many videos like not only building a level, but also analyzing levels from existing games. I think Game Maker's Toolkit also
Hmm.
has some good videos on that.
Yeah.
Um, they had one on The Last of Us Part Two, I think. There was I think it was an interview with the level designer, and it, these kind of videos, they give you a very good insight in how to think of the process, and how to uh, work from the the story that you want to tell with that level, um, to a finished layout. So yeah, I also learned like all the terminology and all that from the same videos. Like, you,
Yeah.
if you watch it, and not watch it as entertainment, watch it as a study. You need to like pay attention and like take notes if you need to, or when sometimes like they mention something that I don't know what it is, then I go search on Google like, what is this, and see some articles and read some things. So it's like it's research. Like, uh, if you're not on a school, and you know don't have uh, um, a game designer, uh, game design teacher or something like that, you have to to seek for yourself the knowledge. And I think that's the case for most of, like, probably most of the indie devs out there. So I think it's research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of GDC talks on many topics, and they're amazing because it's the developers talking about their games, and they're really nice.
Yeah, and I think one advice here would be for you get the knowledge, but don't just get the knowledge. Like, put it to use. Like, make something, and
Yeah.
even
Exactly.
even if it's a failed level, it's actually not a failed. You actually learned something. Why did you fail? It's actually better to fail and learn why than have a success and then don't know why. Kind of. Um, by the way, we might have a situation. Big one.
What happened?
Wait a second. The streaming closed. Oh no, it